Wow, my mom and dad were getting into a pretty heated discussion about this TV evangelist, Pat Robertson. Apparently, this lady asked him for advice about dating someone else because her husband has Alzheimer's. Mom says Alzheimer's is this disease that's really scary because it messes with your brain and makes it hard for you to remember people and places and other stuff. Anyways, Pat Robertson basically told this woman she was okay to cheat on her husband because her husband has Alzheimer's. At least, that's how my mom took it. Dad says it's more complicated than that. He says he understands what Pat Robertson is saying because Alzheimer's turns you into a vegetable. Mom got mad when he said that and told him that wasn't a very nice way to put it. Dad said she knew what he meant and that it was the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts. Mom then asked Dad if he would date someone else if she got Alzheimer's. I think Dad knew he was in trouble at this point because he looked kind of uncomfortable, like when you're trying to poop and it won't come out, and he didn't say anything. Mom just stared at him and said, "Well?" Dad must have realized he had to say something because he quickly said, "Of course not." But I'm not sure Mom was convinced because she kind of breathed out real heavy through her nose and continued to glare at him. I'm not really sure about this whole Alzheimer's thing, but it looks like talking about it and dating is not a good idea. Obviously, this Pat Robertson guy doesn't know much about relationship advice. Maybe the 700 Club where he works should think about replacing him. I mean, the 700 Club is a TV show, and if he's starting arguments with everyone's parents, he can't be that good for their ratings. I'm actually thinking about locking out the 700 Club channel on our remote control so this Pat Robertson guy doesn't start any more arguments with my mom and dad. They don't know how to work the remote, and they're too embarrassed to ask me or Tabby, so it should solve the problem. On the other hand, I'm not even sure they were watching the 700 Club when they heard about what Pat Robertson said. Now that I think about it, I think they heard about it on the news. I guess I could lock out the news channels on the remote, but I think almost every channel has news, so that wouldn't work out very good for me. There wouldn't be much left on TV to watch. I guess I'll just have to take the chance that Pat Robertson won't start any more arguments between mom and dad. If he does, I might have to write the 700 Club and ask them to make him stop. After lunch, Mom was still shooting Dad the evil eye and barely talking to him, so I decided it was time for me to step in and fix things. Dad's a little stubborn sometimes, and he doesn't seem to realize that when Mom's mad at him, the rest of us suffer too. I figured out a long time ago from watching Boogie's dad that Flowers fixes almost anything when his mom is mad at his dad, which gave me an idea. Now, whenever Dad gets himself in trouble with Mom and can't fix it himself, I call the flower shop down the street and order flowers for Mom with a card from him saying, "I love you." So far, it's worked every time. Dad hasn't caught on, even though the shop charges them to his account, and Mom is always really happy to get flowers.